What is going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Daily Energy Newsbeat Stand-Up here on this gorgeous Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. As always, I'm your humble correspondent, Michael Tanner, coming to you from an undisclosed location here in Dallas, Texas, joined by the executive producer of the show, the purveyor of the show, and the director and publisher of the world's greatest website, EnergyNewsbeat.com, Stuart Turley. My man, how we doing today?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, Michael. What are you doing?
I am trying not to sweat to death. This is my first Texas summer. I'm actually dying. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I got up this morning. The sun isn't even out yet. It's 81 degrees. It's insane. It's insane. There's
wasn't last summer in the Oklahoma sweat box there. That was pretty rough.
I was 2 summers ago. Thanks for bringing old memories back.
Oh, sorry. Was that 2 summers? Man,
I was 3 summers ago. I think that's coming up on 3 summers, Stu. Like time flies when you're having fun. But no kidding. I hope everybody is staying cool. If you're here in Texas or around the country, we are seeing a massive heat wave. Hopefully here in Texas, ERCOT figures their stuff out. Haven't had any power freezes yet, but knock on wood, hopefully not. We have a great show for you guys lined up. Stu's got a great menu. First up on that, forget oil, new wildcatters are drilling for limitless geologic hydrogen. Ooh, spicy. Next up, fossil fuel giants flick the script, declare natural gas, quote, fuel of the future. Next up, Sweden abandons 100% renewable energy goal as EU reconsiders climate policies. I love this Stu edition. I'm back, says Sweden. Terminator style. Coming on back. Finally, from Merck to Microsoft, these are the companies that BlackRock controls the most of. Hint, hint, we've got a lot of oil and gas, so Stu will cover all that. He'll kick it over to me. I'll quickly cover the, quote, fallout from Russia, Ukraine. If you're one of our many podcast listeners, I'm doing air quotes because there was absolutely no fallout from the attempted coup that Stu was back from Rostov taking a part of. As you guys remember, over the weekend, there was the alleged coup. They got within 200 miles or 200 kilometers, of Moscow. Stu, as he covered yesterday in the show, thinks that maybe he's a little bit dubious, but regardless, the fallout is basically nothing. So we'll cover what happened there and a bag of chips, guys. But first, check us out online, world's greatest website, www.energynewsbeat.com, the best place for all of your energy news. Stu does a great job of curating the website, making sure it's up to speed with all of your energy news. Dashboard.energynewsbeat.com, the best place for all your data and energy new combo. Get that while you still can. You never know when it's going behind a paywall, aka it's going behind a paywall, so get ready for it. Email us questions at energynewsbeat.com. All right, Stu, where do you want to begin?
Hey, let's start with forget oil. New wildcatters are drilling for limitless geologic hydrogen. I'm sorry. This is absolutely hilarious. Doug Wicks, director of the U.S. Energy Department Advanced Research Project Agency, Energy, told Forbes, what a title. View them like oil wildcatters right now. Drillers may be astronomical on how they geologic conditions needed to generate it appear to be ironic, iron-rich pockets of water near tectonic rifts located worldwide.
It's wait, they want to drill into faults near tectonic plates. Oh yeah, that's fine. Let's not dump Atlanta. Let's not. I mean, as long as California falls into the crevice, I'm good.
If it falls in the ocean, I'm okay. Yeah, go for it. Knock yourself out. It's 150 trillion metric tons. 1 billion tons would power the United States for a full year. Okay, let me explain something here, Michael. Hydrogen is very expensive to make. Drilling in that tectonic area, it would even be more expensive. The other part of this is there are no pipelines or infrastructure or engines or anything designed for this. We're 50 years away from this even happening.
Hey, I got to give a shout out to my boys over at Colorado School of Mines. If you notice down in there in the second paragraph, the School of Mines, proud alumnus over here, and the U.S. Geological Survey are partnering with Shell, BP, and Chevron to study this stuff, aka green hydrogen, or this geologic hydrogen is what it's called. But we call it green. Yeah, the branding, it'll come around to be green. Don't worry. We understand the sleight of hand. We were just talking before we got on this podcast about moving goalposts. It's they're going to move those goalposts. Trust me, it'll end up as green when it's all said and done.
It goes in here to hydrogen eating microbes. You got to sit there and love some of this stuff.
I'm kidding. We'll let the folks over in Golden handle that one. What's next, Stu?
Okay. Fossil fuel giants flipped the script, declare natural gas fuel of the future.
Speaking of moving goalposts.
In a surprising shift with energy into major fossil fuel players are boldly asserting that natural gas will play a pivotal role in the transition to greener future. Bloomberg reported. Here's where it gets a little interesting. You sit back and it's all the big dogs. It's Shell, BP. We've already talked about this a little bit on our podcast over the last 4 or 5 months. Shell, for instance, plans to increase its natural gas investments by 25% this year, reaching a record $5 billion. BP, love it. I mean, it is last year on my podcast with Ben, not Stiller, but Ben. He was. I said,
no, it was Ben Stiller. You're right. It was Ben Stiller.
And you sit back and say we're going to have a awakening this year in a couple different ways, and this awakening is realizing that natural gas. I mean that. Renewables are not what they've seen. And so the next 2 stories really play into that very nicely.
Yeah. I mean, there's clearly in this article talks about it in the bottom paragraph, this paradigm of all of the oil and gas companies are ramping up natural gas investments while the IEA and our favorite friends are threatening us with an orderly transition. Guys got to go listen to yesterday's show. One of the scariest quotes you'll ever see. Basically, I'll save it. Go listen to yesterday's episode. Point being, guys, the IEA thinks we need to ramp down by 2028. Well, there's a disconnect there. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. What are these other 2 stories that fold into it?
Next one coming around a corner. Sweden abandons 100% renewable energy goal as EU reconsiders climate policies. I'm back, says Sweden. And on the front cover, there is Randy Quaid, just as he's flying up into the alien craft going, I'm back. Sweden used to love nuclear, and this is the only thing I could think of that was really close enough to it. I just watched it this past week, and I loved Randy Quaid in that, bring on the coffee, and he's a pilot flying up that. Okay. More than 40 years after the country voted to phase out nuclear, Sweden is now looking to build more nuclear reactors after its parliament formally abandoned 100% renewable energy targets to meet net zero by 2045. They're not the only ones sitting there kind of going, scratching their head going, maybe
it's a great awakening going on in Sweden right now.
We can't print money. We can't meet our carbon goals by sitting here putting in solar and wind. Can't do it. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
British lobby group Net Zero Watch, which describes a net zero roadmaps of Western nations as utopian and unsustainable. Welcome the move. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love this quote. It says that net zero, I mean, this is a lobby group, so take it for what it's worth. They clearly think this way, but they say net zero plans envisioned by the IEA, quote, are dangerously expensive and result in painful reductions in living standards for all but the richest, as well as the nation's weakest, socially unstable, and eventually the failure of the decarbonization effort. I mean, they're paid to say that, so I mean, I guess that sounds cooler.
Absolutely, but on the other part, I love this one. Living close to Russia focuses the mind.
Those Ukrainian SEALs, you never know where they'll pop up.
Oh yeah, hey, congratulations, Michael. Our short got banned on TikTok yesterday.
I saw that.
Wasn't that great?
I don't know why. Was it the Ocean Gate reference?
That Ocean Gate was absolutely hilarious. I thought it was funny. Or I'm not sure if we're going to get banned on the one where I'm beating you up for killing the whales. So who knows? The fact that we're banned.
I just stand with the environmentalists. Kill the whales. Throw up offshore wind.
Hey, I've been banned by the UN. I'm proud to be banned. Okay, let's go to the next.
Free Willy can kiss my booty.
Oh, good grief, my young millennial. All right, from Merrick to Microsoft, these are the companies that BlackRock controls the most of. Michael,
I'm sure. Let me just take a quick swing here, Stu. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're all ESG friendly, right? I'm sure.
Try again. Yeah.
Is most of them ESG friendly?
Somewhat. Here's where
I don't think any of them are. There's Meta. I'm looking at this. None of them are.
Well, here's where it gets me worked up. You and I have talked about you go to Google, this thing called Google, which is shadow banning our website, but we still get 60,000 people a day to it. You sit here and you take a look at this. They go carbon neutral since 2007. Bull hockey. How many servers is Google running? That eats up more heat than all the whales on the planet. Anyway,
we should go back to fire. I'm with you. We should go back to pre-fossil fuels.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So the next one here, you say Meta. How in they're running all this. How in the world is Meta carbon neutral? Are they borrowing carbon credits? Apple? You got to be kidding.
You've got their biggest, let's roll down here. Here's their biggest investments, BlackRock, ESG friendly BlackRock. Apple, 170 billion. They're ESG friendly, just operating sweatshops in China. They're good. No. That's good. That's good. ESG. Talk about
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, Microsoft, 155. ChatGPT, basically about to put an entire industry out of business. Basically about to put hundreds of millions of people out of work.
Broadcom.
Co-founders injecting vaccines all over Africa randomly. That's number 2. ESG. Yep. Love it. And that's literally half of the fund. You've got number 3, Indivia, chip maker, Taiwan. Oh, I'm sure that's a great facility.
Oh no. And it's the chips that are going into the wasted dump. We've got a video that our production team is doing. You missed that today since you were like working at Real Job. That all the solar panels are actually going to be more waste than all the nuclear waste in the world.
Yeah. Amazon's actually number 3. I see they have them ranked here. It's a little bubble chart. Amazon's number 3. That seems like a fun place to work. 12-hour shift, peeing in a bottle.
Oh yeah. Nice. Okay.
You work
look
there.
At number 12 and number 22.
Chevron and Exxon. That is ESG friendly right there. I can get behind that, BlackRock.
Here, this is hypocrisy at its finest. I mean, you can't tell me that they stand up there and Larry Fink is up there saying, and then have you ever seen any of the BlackRock commercials yet? They're making me airsick. They've got a man standing there and a janitor, and he's sitting there going, we want to fund your retirement with ESG. I threw up in my mom's hospital room watching this thing. It is disgusting.
We want to charge you more fees for ESG funds and still go buy Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Nvidia. It's a scam for fees.
Yeah. And then, you know, I walk across the road and get arrested for jaywalking, but these knuckleheads can get by with murder. Oh, that sounds like
crimes, high crimes.
Yeah. Sounds like a politician. Politician, Larry Fink, politician. Oh,
interesting. Klaus Schwab, just throw the World Economic Forum in there.
He might as well. They all sleep together.
Oh, you got anything else?
No, thanks for letting me rant today. And since you want to throw this story out, I appreciate you.
I almost did this. That story almost did, man. I'm glad I kept it in. It was a fun one.
Well,
Not much of the oil, you know. I mentioned on yesterday's show, oh, what's the fallout going to be from Russia? The invasion of the mercenary group Wagner. Drum roll, please. Nothing. Literally, it was nothing. Nothing happened abroad. It was a 48-hour, it was a 36-hour event. Oil stuck at 69.41. We didn't see much movement on the dollar, so it pretty held oil prices still. I love Reuters. Oil prices rose slightly in choppy trading session Monday as investors balance concerned about global demand against political instability in Russia. Just say you choppy trading. Like, they have to throw on a sentence to make themselves sound smart. You can just say prices rose slightly in a chopping trading day on Monday, but instead they've got to go and try to throw out two counter narratives so that when you sum up the counter narratives, they both equal zero. It's like, you don't need to give me a positive and a negative each day if nothing happened. You can just say nothing happened. It's just hilarious because I don't necessarily think people are balancing these two issues. I think they could care less about Russia and what's going on with the Wagner Group because I thought there were already sanctions. Oh, so what you're telling me, Reuters, is the sanctions don't matter. Oh, so what I'm hearing is Stu was right, which I don't like hearing, but I love it when Reuters is wrong. So it's just interesting. Okay.
You crack me up. I don't want to admit Stu's right.
According to Reuters, you are. Apparently price caps don't work. They'll never admit that.
Well, go back to
over there.
ESG investing. When you try to do carbon credits, that is the biggest thing. Next, Hunter is going to come out and try to come up with his own carbon credit fund.
Oh, that's funny.
That was funny.
That's funny. What should people be nervous about, Stu? It's a pretty quiet day on my front. Besides that, nothing really on the oil and gas news wire.
I'm just worried about any kind of false flags coming up. It's going to be brutal.
Well,
who knows?
Well, you guys, you survived Monday. We appreciate you guys checking us out.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday now. Stu seems more excited than most of us. So we'll let you guys get out of here. Appreciate you checking us out. For Stuart Turley, I'm Michael Tanner. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow.